सुप्तेषु जागृति सुप्तेषु जागृति कामं 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 कामंशो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शून्यं तदेव शून्यब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् योगः तस्मिन् सर्वे
Thank you, everyone. I, Aditya Maheshwari, on behalf of Andheri Oshiwara Study Circle, convener, welcome you all to today's webinar for decoding 20 lakh crore stimulus package of Government of India. So there has been a lot of discussion on this and what benefit one would get. So we have CA Pramod Jain, who is a CA, valuation professional, insolvency professional, independent director, who will take us to the session. But before this, I will like Anisha Sheikh to kindly formally introduce the speaker to everyone. Anisha.
Thank you, Aditya. Good evening, Sri Pramod ji, my co-hosts, members of the study circle, and my dear friends. Welcome to today's virtual meeting. Our today's honorable speaker for the topic decoding the benefits of economic stimulus package, Sri Pramod Jain, has rich corporate experience of 36 years in India and across the globe of all functions relating to finance, accounts, law, and taxation. He is a chartered accountant, cost accountant, law graduate, MBA, CFA, company secretary. He is also a registered valuer and insolvency professional. He is speaker for corporates in more than 50 locations across the globe, including USA, Brazil, Mexico, Canada, whole of Europe, Russia, South Africa, Asia, and Middle East. He has also been a visiting guest faculty for 22 different topics relating to business management, accounts and finance, and live management at more than 20 different management schools and universities, and continues to be so. He has delivered training programs for IBC and valuation. He has trained more than 2,000 people outside India on work-life balance through yoga, pranayama, and meditation. He has so far authored 5 books, to mention 2 of them, Finance of Value Creation and You Are a Born Winner. Sir, you have authored the book, You Are a Born Winner, but going through your profile, I personally feel you are indeed a born winner. Sir, with this brief introduction, Sri Pramod, I kindly hope you to start the session. Thank you.
I will just take 1 minute before. Just we'll have a poll. What do you think about this package by government? So we have an option for poll. You can vote. Still at least around 10 people are left to vote. Please vote. So I'm ending the poll in the next 5 seconds. Actually, the co-host, I don't think they get an opportunity to poll on this. So this is the result. So you can just 28% are satisfied with what the government has to offer. 38% are somewhat satisfied and 41% are not satisfied. So we can say some satisfaction is there. We can take the poll at the end also. Then after listening to sir, we'll get to know whether there was some change in the polling ratio also. So over to you, Suparam sir. Yeah.
Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Anisa. And good evening to all my dear friends. Good evening to all my dear friends. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here with all of you and share some of my thoughts about this package of rupees 20 lakhs crores given by or announced by the government of India. What I intend to do is proceed the session in this way. This is the agenda that I have, friends, with all of us. COVID, of course, has been an unprecedented crisis. It is something that happens once in a century. I mean, it does not happen by rule, but incidentally, it has happened exactly by 1 century. The last one that we had was in 1918, and that was Spanish influenza. It's terrible crisis, as we all know. It has impacted every walk of life for every one of us. And it is not only in India, but across the globe, whether it is business or industry or a service sector or agriculture sector, nothing is remaining untouched from the COVID crisis. In a crisis like this, a major worry for everybody in the country is how to get the economy of the country back on the roll, and especially when the whole country has been locked down for more than 2 months. And this, as we all know, is completely unprecedented. It has never ever happened, at least in our lifetime, in past so many years. So there is a worry on the part of everybody कि भाई ये इकोनॉमी वापस कैसे आएगी रेल पे, और इकोनॉमी को क्यों वापस रेल पर लाना जरूरी है. Why it is necessary to bring the economy back on the rail, and it is primarily for the simple reason because if the economy is not brought back on the track, there are a lot of dangers, a lot of fears, a lot of challenges, a lot of hardships that the people of the country may have to face. And the biggest of them is the lack of livelihood. If the industry is not working, if the service sector is not working, if agriculture sector is not able to work, then one can imagine a real Mahamari happening across the country. And therefore, it becomes a major concern for everybody in any economy to bring the economy back on the track. Now, the question is whose responsibility it is to bring the economy back on the track. Now, if you ask me, in a situation like this, it is not the responsibility of one single person or one single industry or one single state or district or country. It is a crisis which has to be controlled and managed and solved by everybody. But somebody has to take the lead, and who can take that lead, or who should take that lead? That lead, of course, has to be taken by the government of the country. And why the government of the country? Because they are the people who are at the helms of affair. And since they are at the helms of affair, obviously it becomes their responsibility, it becomes their obligation to ensure that the whole economy is brought back on the track so that the consequential damages can be avoided. Now, what is a business? And when I'm saying business, I'm talking the economy as a whole. Now, what is a business? Business is nothing but it's an engine for bringing social transformation in socio-economic transformation in any economy. And therefore, it is absolutely necessary that the businesses are kept on running. And why the businesses are kept on running? The businesses are kept on running because they keep on adding value, they keep on creating value. And when they keep on creating value, then when they keep on adding value, that gives impetus to the well-being of the people. That brings the increase or rise in the standard of living of the people. So really speaking, in general, if you see, when the times are good, the businesses are helping the economy in many ways, whether it is by way of paying, giving employment, or whether it is by way of paying taxes or whatever. In every possible way, the businesses are helping the government and the economy. And therefore, when the business is in trouble, somebody has to help. And who that somebody has to be? That somebody has to be the government. And how the government has to help? The government has to help in every way possible, so as to ensure that the businesses are able to reoperate. The business are able to restart. The businesses are able to take their shutters up and start producing, start selling, and do everything so that the economy is back on the track. And therefore, friends, it is the responsibility of the government of the country to come out with the stimulus package so as to ensure that the challenges, that the difficulties and the problems which are being faced by the business, which are faced by the industry, are taken care of, and the businesses and the industry are able to start producing, are able to start contributing to the economy, so that the economy is back on the track and well-being of everybody is taken care of. And from that perspective, the government of India, as all of us know, and that is the topic of our discussion today, the government of India came out with a stimulus package, which is not 20 lakh crore. Really speaking, it is 20.97 lakh crore. As we all know, the finance minister has announced all these stimulus packages over a period of 5 days. Now, not only the finance minister has announced all these stimulus packages, but the Reserve Bank governor also on different occasions has come out with many relief measures so as to facilitate the functioning of the industry, functioning of the economy and the businesses in a way so that the hardships are minimized to the minimum extent possible. And from that perspective, friends, we are going to discuss this package of 20.97 lakh crore. Now, there are 5 days of the announcements, as we all know, but though I'm going to cover all the 5 days, but what I intend to do, I intend to focus more on the announcements of the first day. And why on the announcements of the first day? Because those are the announcements which are more relevant for every one of us, or they are directly related to every one of us, being the finance professionals, being the accounts professional, being the people who understand the economy of a country. So I would be putting more emphasis on the first day's announcements that pertains to the relief for the businesses, including MSMEs. But I will certainly be touching the remaining proposals also, just to be on the same page and know and be aware as to what the government, what kind of relief measures the government of India has announced for all these sectors, and how the government of India intends to give impetus to the economy of the country, how the government of India intends to bring the economy back on the track. So this is, friends, what we have on the agenda. Okay. Now, if at any point in time, if you realize that you are not able to see the PPT, please feel free to let me know. And because sometimes it happens, the PPT disappears, and then I will ensure that it is on the screen and you're able to see it actually. Okay, so then of course we talk about the self. We talk about the just one second. Then we talk about the self-reliance, which of course is extremely important, friends. I think first time, at least in my memory, I see that the government is talking in terms of self-reliance, Atmanirbharta. Now, if you really ask me, this is something what we should have done in this country from the very beginning. If we would have done that, perhaps the kind of challenges, the kind of difficulties, the kind of hardships a lot of people had to face in this country would have been avoided. And what I intend to do, I intend to discuss the package clause by clause. And when I say clause by clause, meaning from different perspective. So we would look at each and every relief measure that has been announced by the finance minister. We would look at as to what kind of impact this measure will it have. Will it have a long-term impact or will it have a short-term impact? So when I say short-term, that means it is near to 6 months. Or when I say long-term, that means beyond 6 months. Is it a normal act of the government of India? So what the relief measure that the government has announced, it is something that the government would have done in any case in the normal course, or it is something which is exclusively done for the revival of the economy or as a part of the stimulus package. Then we would also examine as to whether it, because this is the question, and I'm sure this question must have come in the minds of all of you also, as to whether the government is really going to shell out 20.97 lakh crore from their pocket, or how much money is going to go out of the pocket of the government. So we would also look at each and every relief measure, whether there is a or not. Will it really help the economy in coming back on track? That of course is very, very important, because I was seeing the poll result, and again it is in front of me, and I can see that the maximum percentage is 41% of the people who say they are not satisfied. So whether that really will happen. So all these announcements, will they really impact the economy positively? That is what also we would keep on discussing. I would keep on mentioning from time to time. And of course, last but not the least, will this relief measure that the government has announced really help the business in improving its immediate liquidity? So that also I would be mentioning as we move forward with this discussion. Okay, so and then of course finally we will also have some time for the question and answer session. I think we should be able to finish by about 6:30, 1.5 hours put together starting from the starting time. This, friends, is the summary that you can see on the screen of the total outlay which is part of this package. So you have in the part one, it is 5.94 lakh crore, which is for the business and the MSME. Then, of course, for the poor and migrant labor and farmers, there's a package of 3.1 lakh crore. Agriculture, 1.5 lakh crore. Then, of course, there are certain other measures where it is 48,100 crore. Other than that, what the government also, as you would recollect, the very first time, the finance minister made an announcement of Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Yojana, and that is PMGKP. So there it was 1,92,800 crore. And Reserve Bank of India governor also has announced on two different occasions the measures to improve the liquidity into the system, to facilitate that the people, the industry, the business, and the individuals do not face a challenge of liquidity and do not default. And this is how, they came out with the idea of moratorium and things like that. So all this put together, it comes to 20.97 lakh crore. Now this is the package, this is the entire the snapshot of the relief measure. Let's begin, friends, with the businesses, the relief measures that the government has announced for businesses, including MSMEs. And of course, friends, we all understand it very well, because MSME has got a major share in the economic growth and development of this country. Not only they are the largest employment provider, but they also hugely contribute to the GDP and also to the exports from the country. And at the same time, the SME is one sector which is highly susceptible, highly vulnerable for any kind of disruption that can happen, that can take place in an economy. And the one that we are experiencing today is really a very hard one, because the MSME in this country, for whatever reason, does not have that kind of rich reserve base so as to sustain a long lockdown period of this kind. And therefore, what are the measures that the government has announced to take care of the businesses in general and MSMEs in particular? This is where what we are going to look at now. So there are about 16 different measures that have been announced by the finance minister. We would look at them one by one. So the first one is the rupees 3 lakh crore collateral free automatic loan for businesses, including MSMEs. Now, this is the first thing, 3 lakh crore. Now, and remember, this is collateral free automatic loan. Now, I will like to mention here, it is not automatic. It is collateral free for sure, but it is not automatic. It's not going to happen automatically. You will the bank might write to you if you're a borrower, or you will have to approach the bank, but it will not, it's not that it will be done automatically. Some documentation will have to be done. Now this scheme, now what is going to happen in this under this this particular relief measure? There's a provision of 3 lakh crore of collateral free credit granted to the businesses and MSMEs whose turnover is less than 100 crore and whose outstanding as of 29th February 2020 जो भी उसका size होगा उसका 20% they are going to be allowed as collateral free. So meaning what? Meaning if there is a businessman, his turnover is less than 100 crore and he has on 29th February his outstanding, his credit outstanding with the banks and the financial institutions is to the tune of 20 crore. That means he would be eligible to receive a collateral free credit facility of 4 crore from the bank or the financial institution. Does he have to, is it collateral free? Of course. Who will guarantee it? The guarantee is going to come. This scheme is going to be operated by NCGTC. NCGTC is National Credit Guarantee Trust Company, which is subsidiary of Government of India. So this fund and this scheme is going to be managed by the NCGTC. It has already been announced on 23rd May. The NCGTC has already brought out the guidelines, and those guidelines have been communicated to all the chairmen and the managing directors of all the scheduled commercial banks. Cooperative banks, friends, remember, of course, are not part of this scheme. So this is only for the scheduled commercial banks. Now, for this 20% extra credit that a business or MSME will get, the tenure is going to be of 4 years. And the beauty is that there is a moratorium of 1 year. That means for first year of this 20% that you borrow, you will not have to repay it in first 12 months. The repayment will start after the first year, and after that, within 3 years, it has to be paid back. No guarantee to be given by the borrower. The guarantee will come from the NCGTC. They will take care of this portion. Now, I only have one point here. And the point is, as you can see, this relief measure, who is eligible? Only those MSMEs or those businesses whose turnover is less than 100 crore, they are eligible. And they are eligible up to what amount? They are eligible up to 20% of the outstanding credit as of 29th February 2020. So वो उनकी eligibility है. क्या मतलब है इसका? इसका मतलब ये है कि अगर आप एक बिजनेसमैन हैं और आपका टर्नओवर 100 करोड़ से कम है, लेकिन for whatever reason you were able to manage your operations without taking any bank credit or without taking any loan from the financial institutions. So if your outstanding as of 29th February 2020 is zero and you are in need of funds because of the lockdown, unfortunately or incidentally, as it stands today, this relief measure is not for you. And this is where I think the government should think about it, because I have received many phone calls from many such people who are otherwise eligible, but they cannot get, because since they did not had anything outstanding on 29th February 20, and therefore they say therefore as per the scheme they are not eligible. In my view, what the scheme should have provided, just because somebody has managed without leveraging, without borrowing, it does not mean, it can be presumed that he would be able to manage the affairs after the lockdown period also without borrowing. This presumption, I think, is completely misplaced. So the scheme should have provided that in such cases, up to 5% of your total assets you can borrow. So that is what should have been. I hope this message goes to the government and they are able to do something about it. This scheme is operational now, and the communications have gone down to the branches, to all the banks, and therefore if any of your client is interested in availing the benefit, what he or she has to do, just approach the scheduled commercial bank. So whichever bank your client must be dealing, they have to approach that bank, and everything is available now, and the bank should be able to help them. This is collateral free. Remember, at the same time, it's not that it is automatic. The bank obviously is going to examine the financials of the borrower, because that responsibility is always with the bank to ensure before lending that the borrower is credit worthy. So that aspect they will certainly check. All right. So let's go to the next one. The next scheme is rupees 20,000 crore. Rupees 20,000 crore subordinate debt. Subordinate debt for stressed MSMEs. Now, friends, this is again a very interesting announcement, very interesting relief measure. Who is it for? As you can say, this is stressed MSMEs. So meaning what? Meaning those MSMEs who are having NPAs or who are having stressed assets. It is quite possible that they might not get the relief under the collateral free scheme, a relief measure. And therefore, there is a provision for 20,000 crores subordinate debt for stressed MSMEs. Now, how will it work? Now, under this, the CGT MSE, which is your credit guarantee trust for MSEs, that will be the operating agency, that will be the managing agency, and through this agency, the government, through this agency, the loans will be given not to the MSME. The loan will be given to the promoters of the MSME. And why the loans will be given to the promoters of MSME, so that the promoters of MSMEs are able to use those debt for putting into the business as equity. So this way, it should help the business. It will help in terms of liquidity to the promoter, and the promoter in turn would be able to use that money to put into his business as equity. So since he increases his equity, his debt equity ratio is going to improve. Obviously, his liquidity is going to improve because of this money that he would be able to pump into the business afresh. His debt equity ratio will improve. That in turn will increase his borrowing capacity. And if he manages his business well and uses this finance well, it would also improve his business performance also, which in turn again will put him into a virtuous cycle. Now, let's look at this, how it is going to work. So, CGT MSE will provide partial credit guarantee support. It is going to be helpful in short term as well as in the long term if implemented smoothly. For the government, the outflow is going to be 4,000 crore. The balance 16,000 crores would be mobilized by the CGT MSE from the other financial sources. So therefore, the outgo from the pocket of the government is going to be only to the extent of 4,000 crore. The balance 16,000 crore is going to come from the financial system of the country. Now, friends, this is my recommendation, and I very strongly feel that what the finance ministry should do, they must set up a portal so as to get the daily feedback as to how the implementation of all these relief measures is happening. And I'm sure if that happens, then the fact coming to the previous relief measure of 3 lakh crore, it will come to the notice of the Ministry of Finance and the Finance Minister that there are certain units which are otherwise in need of funds, but they are not able to take the benefit because they did not have anything outstanding on 29th of March. I'm sure the government would certainly think proactively on that particular aspect and will also ensure that such borrowers, such businesses, such as MSMEs are also able to take the benefit of this scheme. So this is how this is your 20,000 crore subordinate debt for stressed MSMEs. This is specifically for the stressed MSMEs, and this is how it is going to function. Then how to apply? Of course, again, you have to approach the scheduled commercial banks, and through these scheduled commercial banks, the borrower or the businessman or the MSME would be able to take benefit of this particular scheme. Now, then the third one is 50,000 crore equity infusion for MSMEs through fund of funds. Now, this again, friends, is a very positive measure, and the government is calling it as a fund of fund. It basically means that the government is going to pump in 10,000 crore and create a mother fund, and that mother fund would be leveraging this 10,000 crore, inviting participation from rest of the players in the financial system of the country, and that would include the VCs, the private equities, the financial institutions, corporate investors, banks, government funds, and other high net worth individuals. So now what is going to happen is, unlike this, the previous one, the subordinate debt fund of 20,000 crore, this 50,000 crore equity infusion scheme, it is going to be not for the stressed MSMEs. It is going to be for the ones which are doing well. So this is for the MSMEs which otherwise are doing well, making profit, performing well, good financials, but need money for growth. And that is where the government has thought of this fund of 50,000 crore, which is, the government is calling it as fund of funds. So with the 10,000 crore infusion from the government, this fund is started, and it would mobilize another 40,000 crore from the private equity, the venture capital, high net worth individuals, banks, financial institutions, and then this 50,000 crores would be given to the MSMEs as equity. It will be given to MSMEs as direct equity. So this fund will have the direct equity participation in the MSME, and the government thinks that this would help all these MSMEs to go directly to the main board of BSE for a listing. So how do we look at it? Only profitable MSMEs will be able to take its benefit. Mother fund, government of India going to be the anchor investor with 10,000 crore. Helpful only in long run, as there will be setting up time and processing time. So it's not that this is going to help immediately. The units which are hit because of the lockdown in terms of their liquidity, for them it is not really going to be helpful. It is going to be helpful for the MSMEs who need funds for growth and expansion, and that is where it's going to be. Will help in easing liquidity in the long term, of course, and it will also because this money is going to come from this fund of fund or this fund of 50,000 crore into the MSMEs by way of equity. So this would improve the debt equity ratio of the MSME, and as a result of that, the borrowing capacity also will increase of the MSME. So if this MSME is profitable, it will get the equity coming from this fund, and that would enhance the borrowing power. So it would be able to borrow some more money, and thereby it should be able to flare growth and grow big and go to the main platform of the BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange. So this is the third relief measure. How to apply? Through investors fund onboarded and registered with the proposed funds of funds. So as I was saying, the government of India is going to be anchor investor, and that in this that mother fund will have daughter funds. So daughter funds will be funds by other players of the financial system, and anybody who wishes to have equity participation coming from this fund of 50,000 crore will need to approach these investor funds who would have got registered themselves with the mother fund, and this is how they will be able to take the benefit of this particular scheme. I certainly feel that this is a good measure, because the equity participation from the government or the other intermediaries is definitely a boost to a business. Plus, it brings in a lot more professionalism. Anybody coming on the board on board in a company with equity from outside is certainly bring with him certain amount of professionalism, and which definitely number 4, friends, which is the definition of MSME itself has been revised now. What is the impact? Is it a financial stimulus? No, it is not a financial stimulus for sure. It is more of a financial reform. It is more of an economic reform. So there was a fear in the minds of MSME sector people that they would be getting out of the prescribed limits of the eligibility, and therefore they may be deprived of the benefits applicable to MSMEs. So to take care of this concern of the MSME sector, the finance minister included this particular change. Now, what is this change? This is something again very interesting. Earlier, the definition or the classification of MSME was linked with the investment in the plant and machinery. And you had manufacturing, and there were two classes: manufacturing MSME and the service sector MSME. Now what the government has done, and they have removed this separation of manufacturing and service MSME. So now there is no separate manufacturing MSME, no separate service MSME. There is one single definition, that is manufacturing service MSME. So that is number one change that they have done. And remember, friends, this change has already become effective, because the necessary amendment in the Act has been done, and it has been notified already on 1st June. And therefore, this change has already come into effect. So what are the changes? Change number one, they have removed the differentiation between the manufacturing and the service MSMEs. Change number two, earlier the classification was based on the amount of investment in plant and machinery. Now what they have done, in addition to investment in plant and machinery and equipment, they have added another dimension, and that is turnover. So now how the classification will be done? The classification will be done as I'm going to share with you on the next slide, friend. But at this moment, please remember, now there is only one class: manufacturing and service combined together. Number two, second change is the classification now not only is based on the investment in plant and machinery and equipment, but it also takes into account the turnover of the business. One thing that I would like to mention here, which I am sure all of you must be aware in any case, the trading activity as it stands today is not part of MSME. So if somebody is into trading, he cannot register his business or whatever may be the form as MSME, which in my view is a lacuna. Because to think that the trading business does not do any service, I think it is highly misplaced. Trading does provide service. Trading has been the mover of the goods from the manufacturer to the retailer. So obviously they are rendering service, and therefore they must be recognized as MSME, and the benefits of the MSME should also be made available to them. But as it stands today, it is not available. Undoubtedly, friends, we should also be aware of the fact that trading has to add value. Merely lengthening the supply chain is not adding value. Merely increasing the supply chain is only increasing the overheads, increasing the cost. That of course has to be taken care of, which of course we can see is being today taken care of. So this is what it is. Now let's look at the new definition. So as you can see on the screen, now I'm not talking about the old definition because it's gone in any case. So let us not worry about it. Let us now focus only on the new definition. Only thing that I would like to mention here, at the time of the announcement by the finance minister, the classification for the medium enterprise was to be based on investment less than 20 crore and turnover less than 100 crore. Now, in the Act, this limit has been further revised. So what is the further revised limit? As you can see on the screen, so this is the further revised limit for classification of a business as a medium enterprise. So you can see there is no change as far as the micro enterprise is concerned. So now any enterprise, now please pay attention, any enterprise whose investment in plant and machinery, and let me tell you friends here, plant and machinery means what? Plant and machinery means only those plant and machinery which are directly involved into manufacturing or which are directly involved into rendering of the services. Only those plant and machinery are to be considered. So if an enterprise has got investment in effluent treatment plant, Now, effluent treatment plant is necessary, is mandatory, is compulsory, is imperative. But for the purpose of definition, classification of the enterprise, the value of effluent treatment, investment in effluent treatment is not going to be added. In a way, it is good. And why it is good? Because lesser the component that you have as part of the plant and machinery, smaller is going to be the amount of the investment, smaller the amount, more are the chances of the enterprise remaining in that particular category. So it is an advantage to the MSME, but that is what we should remember. So any enterprise whose turnover is less than 1 crore, sorry, whose investment is less than 1 crore in plant and machinery, and whose turnover is less than 5 crore, this enterprise will be classified as micro enterprise. Now, please remember, as you can see on the screen, it says investment and turnover. That means both the conditions need to be fulfilled for a unit to be classified as a micro enterprise. क्या मतलब है कहने का? कहने का मतलब ये है कि अगर एक बिजनेस एंटरप्राइज का इन्वेस्टमेंट 1 करोड़ से कम है, टर्नओवर 5 करोड़ से कम है, it is going to be a micro enterprise. But turnover is more than 5 crore, investment is less than 1 crore, but turnover is more than 5 crore. It is no longer a micro enterprise. It will shift to the small enterprise. So investment is more than 1 crore, turnover is less than 5 crore. Again, it will shift to the next category, that is small enterprise. What is the definition for the, what is the criteria for the small enterprise? The criteria for the small enterprise is investment less than 10 crore, turnover less than 50 crore. Both the conditions got to be met. So any unit whose investment is less than 10 crore and turnover is less than 50 crores, it will be classified as a small enterprise. Either of these two conditions are not met, it will shift to the higher category, which is the medium enterprise. Now, for the medium enterprise, please remember, and why I'm mentioning it particularly, because some of you must have earlier noticed that the announcement of the finance minister said 20 crores of investment and 100 crore of turnover, but these limits have been revised further at the time of amendment of the MSME Development Act 2006. And so if the investment is less than 50 crore and turnover is less than 250 crore, then it would remain to be a medium enterprise. Incidentally, friends, I would also like to mention here that in any case, even after a classification changes as per the Act for next 3 years, this enterprise will continue to get the benefit that were available to it as per the previous classification. So this is some additional information I thought I must share with you. Then relief number 5 is global tenders to be disallowed up to rupees 200 crore. Now, what is the benefit? This, of course, is going to benefit because up till now, whenever and we all know this, that the government in our country are major purchasers, major buyers in this country, and the governments and the MSME sectors are major supplier to all these the government organizations. As per this measure, global tenders to be disallowed up to rupees 200 crore. So that means in case if the government is inviting tenders up to an amount of rupees 200 crore, these tenders will not be open to the global bidders. That means all such tenders would be available for the Indian businesses or MSMEs. And this, of course, is going to definitely give an advantage to the MSME. If you really ask me, when we are talking now, this is the question that I would like to keep with all of you. When we are talking about Atmanirbharta, then why to have this limit of 200 crores also? Why should, in a situation like this, जब हम कह रहे हैं कि हमको आत्मनिर्भर बनना है, why not to restrict all the purchases for the MSMEs and the Indian businesses only? We should go outside or invite global tenders only when there is no manufacturer available in this country. And what we should do, we can invite the global tender bidder, of course, but at the same time, as a government, we should work on creating those facilities also, because then only we can become Atmanirbhar and not otherwise. There is no direct outgo as far as the government is concerned on this particular thing, for the simple reason because it is only a reform, but it would definitely help the MSMEs, as their potential for supply would increase, and plus they will have an advantage of avoiding unfair competition from the global bidders. So this is what it is. It would certainly help their liquidity in the long term. Now, there are certain other interventions for the MSMEs, and what these are. So earlier, as we all know, there would be exhibitions and trade fairs and so on and so forth, where the MSMEs would visit those places. And now the government is working on a platform where the MSMEs would be able to display their products and their capabilities and things like that through the e-market linkage itself. Which means a lot of expenses, a lot of overheads will be saved, and that is what the government is working on as the interventions for the MSMEs. So in terms of the impact, no outgo of funds for the government in this case, of course, except whatever infrastructure they have to create, that would involve money. Positive impact on the business liquidity in short term as well as long term. So अगर businesses को अपने products को, अपने capabilities को exhibit करने के लिए बाहर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, और exhibition और trade fairs में participate करने की जरूरत नहीं है, to that extent they would be able to save their cost and reduce their marketing and the promotion expenses. Then of course, friends, there is this seventh relief measure is by way of payment of provident fund contribution. Now, of course, what the government is doing as part of this. So, in case of businesses where the number of people are less than 100, and the number of people are less than 100, drawing a salary which is less than 15,000, such businesses are eligible to get the benefit of this employee provident fund contribution. So meaning what? Meaning the employee will not have to contribute the 12% from his pocket. The employer also will not have to contribute 12% provident fund from his pocket. So the government is going to fund this 12%. And that means what? That means the employee, this was supposed to be for 3 months initially. Now it has been extended further for another 3 months. For 6 months, the employee would be carrying 12% more of his basic salary, which otherwise would have cut from his salary and gone to the provident fund. So this is going to give him liquidity benefit definitely, because somebody who is drawing a salary of 15,000 or less, 12% of provident fund coming in his hand is certainly going to help him. And it will also help the employer of such employees, because 12% contribution on provident fund is going to be sizable for any business in this country. So it's a good measure. So there is going to be an outflow of 2,500 crore, which is not only an outflow, but it is also a cost to the government, because this money will be hitting the, if I can say so, P&L of the government. Then this similar benefit has also been extended. So this 12% was applicable in case where the number of people was less than 100 and the salary drawn was less than 15,000. So in that case, the benefit of entire 12% was available, but in case of the employees and the employer, where the person does not fall into the first category, that means his salary is not less than 15,000. In such cases also, the government has given the benefit. The only thing is, instead of 12%, the government is going to contribute only 2%. So 10% would be deducted from the salary of the employee now also, and 10% would need to be contributed by the employer now also. But for 6 months, the 2% will come from the coffers of the government, right? And this is going to cost to the government 6,750 crore. I'm not sure 2% what big impact it's going to make to an employee, but it will certainly make an impact as far as a business is concerned, because for him, for the business, it is going to be a sizable amount, because it is not for one employee, it is for so many employees. This again, remember, is a direct hit to the P&L, if I can say so, of the government. This was this certainly will help in the short-term liquidity of the businesses. And as I said earlier, it was is okay. Now the next one that we have is a 30,000 crore special liquidity scheme for NBFCs, HFCs, and MFIs. Now, friends, we all understand that NBFCs, HFCs, and MFIs play a very important role in the entire financial system of this country, and they, in a big way, supplement the efforts of the banking, and they facilitate the entire economic system. Unfortunately, as we all know, because of certain bad incidences of certain NBFCs, the NBFCs in general were finding it difficult to raise capital, to raise funds for onward lending. Now, since they were not able to borrow onward lending, obviously this impacts the economic system, and this stops the credit flow in the system, which again has an adverse impact on the economic activity of the entire economy. Now, to take care of this, what the government has as a ninth relief measure, they are creating 30,000 crore special liquidity scheme for NBFCs, HFCs, and MFIs. Now, under this scheme, investment will be made in both primary and secondary market transactions in investment grade debt paper of NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs. So remember, यहाँ पर जो चीज है नोट करने वाली वो ये है कि ये जो 30,000 करोड़ की स्पेशल लिक्विडिटी स्कीम है for the NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs, it is only for the NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs where they are raising money through the investment grade instruments. So it's only for those NBFCs and HFCs and MFIs where the instrument that they are using for raising money is a investment grade 1. Of course, this will involve an outgo of 30,000 crore on the part of the government, will ease liquidity for the businesses in short term as well as in the long term, and it will have a multiplier effect. And why it will have a multiplier effect? Because if the NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs, if they are able to raise this money, they are able to lend it onwards. So when they are able to lend it onwards, then that money comes into the system, in the economy, and then it further multiplies. So that money goes to somebody, that goes to somebody, and this is how it is really going to have a positive impact. But remember, this 30,000 crore special liquidity scheme is only for investment grade paper and not otherwise. Now the question is, what the NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs will do whose paper is not an investment grade. Now, for them also, there is a scheme that the government has, there's a relief measure that the government has, and which is 45,000 crore partial credit guarantee scheme. So in this case, the raising of the cap money by the NBFCs will be guaranteed by the government, and but the government will guarantee the loss only to the extent of 20% in case if the loss happens. But fact that the government is standing guarantee should motivate, inspire, encourage the market players to subscribe for these NBFCs also, and which again will put more liquidity into the system. Only point that I would like to mention here, and all of us are aware that NBFCs play a very important role in the financial system of this country, which is undoubtedly true. But unfortunately, in case of many of the NBFCs, corporate governance has been a big issue. A big issue. As a matter of fact, the current crisis that we are facing in the financial system by the NBFCs in particular is primarily because of many incidences of some of the NBFCs which spoiled the whole atmosphere and caused tremendous damage prior to the lockdown, as we all are aware. So this is your 45,000 crore partial credit guarantee scheme. It is two, and why it is two? Because this scheme was there earlier also, and that was to expire on 31st March, and this would continue another one, 45,000 crore. So this would help NBFCs who are not so strong, whose investment papers are not investment grade, to also raise money. And then when they raise money, they are able to lend it to the MSMEs. When they are able to lend it to the MSMEs liquidity improves. When the MSMEs liquidity improves, their business improves. They are able to make the payment to their suppliers, and then the chain reaction starts, and the multiplication of the credit happens actually. So this is the 10th relief measure. And then of course, the 11th one is 90,000 crore liquidity injection for DISCOMs. Now friends, all these power distribution companies, all these DISCOMs, as we know, because of the lockdown, one can understand there has been a huge decline in the demand for the power. And as a result of that, on the date when the finance minister made the announcement, the power sector, all the DISCOMs were heavily in debt to the extent of 94,000 crore to the power transmission companies, to the power generation companies actually. So just to give a relief to them, now this relief measure of 90,000 crore of liquidity injection for the DISCOM has been part of the stimulus package. As per this, the Power Finance Corporation and the Rural Electrification Corporation, through them 90,000 crore will be provided to the DISCOMs. Of course, it will come with certain riders. Riders like what? Riders that these DISCOMs first clear their dues to the local state governments, whatever they may be. So all those riders will come, but this will certainly give liquidity to the DISCOM companies, and as a result of that, again, it will have a multiplying effect. Then of course, the relief number 12 is relief to the contractor. Now friends, this again is not a financial relief per se. This is more of, I would say, easing out of the compliance burden. Everybody can understand, because of the lockdown, all the government contractors, whether it was to the contractors of railways or Ministry of Road and Transport and Highways or Central Public Works Department. So all those contractors who had taken contracts from these government departments, because of the lockdown, obviously have not been able to perform or complete the work as per the given timelines. And as we all know, the terms and conditions of the concession agreement or the agreements which are signed by these contractors with the government departments are very tough in terms of meeting with the dates. In the normal course, that would have caused a lot of difficulty and challenges for these contractors, but the government suo moto has come out and given auto extension up to 6 months to all these contractors. So which means if there is a delay of 6 months, the contractor does not have to give any explanation to the concerned government department, nor they have to suffer any kind of financial loss because of the delay. So that is a relief which has been as part of the stimulus package. Now, one thing that also has been provided here, that all the government agencies will release the bank guarantees. So as we all know, these contractors have to give guarantees for the contracts. So they have to give the guarantees for the contracts, and where their margin money is stuck up with the bank. So as part of the relief, all the contractors, all the government agencies will be releasing those bank guarantees. And when those bank guarantees are released, obviously to the extent of the margin money that must have been kept by these contractors would be released by the banks to them, and that would definitely improve their liquidity. So it's not something which is going to help the businesses or MSMEs directly, but it will certainly help indirectly. As a matter of fact, friends, this is my suggestion, that such measures should be taken by the government proactively, suo moto. Why should they wait for a crisis to happen? If a work has been completed, if a guarantee can be released, the guarantee should be released, because unnecessarily for the MSME or for the businessman, his money is stuck up in the bank guarantee. So that becomes a big relief for them. It's a good measure that the government has taken. Of course, will certainly help. Then, of course, this is for the RERA real estate companies. Again, very interesting and very proactive relief measure. It's not going to improve the liquidity of the real estate companies for sure, but what the relief measure has envisaged, that this situation, this lockdown situation, this COVID crisis has been directed by the government to be considered as a force majeure event under RERA. That means what? That means the real estate companies do not have to give any explanation, do not have to file request and appeals and things like that to treat the delay especially. Now, this relief measure is granting to all the real estate companies automatic concession of a period of 6 months. So the government has directed or is directing all the RERA authorities across the country that all the real estate projects which were to expire on or after 25th March 2020, यानी कि वो सारे प्रोजेक्ट जो कि 25 मार्च 2020 के बाद में खत्म होने वाले थे, ऐसे सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए ही, प्लीज रिमेंबर, it is not for the projects that were to finish before 25th March 2020. नो, उनके लिए नहीं है ये रिलीफ, खाली उन प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए है जो कि 25 मार्च 20 के बाद में कंप्लीट होने वाले थे. वो सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स को 6 महीने का ऑटोमेटिक एक्सटेंशन ग्रांट किया हुआ है. दैट मींस व्हाट? दैट मींस the real estate company does not have to give any explanation as to why there is a delay in the completion of the project. As a matter of fact, the relief measure has also made a provision that in certain cases, this extension can be further extended to a period of another 3 months. So it can be 9 months. Advantage real estate companies, they do not have to, the easing of the burden of explanation goes down for them. Plus, they would be able to use the money that they must have received in advance from the buyers, from the real estate buyers actually. So it's an advantage to that extent for the real estate companies for sure. It is a disadvantage for the customers because they will obviously have delayed possession of their real estate property. All right, and then of course, friends, you have this 50,000 crore liquidity through TDS, TCS rate reduction. I am sure all of you are absolutely aware of it. It sounds very good when the government says that the TDS is reduced by 25% for the entire year, that is 2021. So it sounds very good that 25% TDS is reduced, but really speaking, it is just, in case if the rate is 10%, it is just 2.5%. And it's not only it's just 2.5%, the TDS rates have been reduced, but as far as the advanced tax payment dates are concerned, they are still the same. So whatever benefit that is going to be available to you, and whatever it may be, is going to be available to you only for a very short period, but it is available for the entire year 2021. So the government is claiming that this is going to be a liquidity measure of 50,000 crore. Obviously, there is no outgo as far as the government is concerned on account of this particular relief measure, but certainly to a certain extent the funding challenges will be there for the government, because the money which otherwise would have been available with the government for its use will be available only after certain number of days. Then of course other direct measures is the date of income tax return have been changed, and all of us are aware about these dates, so I'm not going to highlight. Dates have been extended for the filing of the return, no doubt about it, because it was necessary also, because this period of March, April, May, June is really speaking the audit period for the corporates and for the accounting and the auditing firms. And since the whole time has gone into the lockdown, obviously there is going to be delay in completion of the audit and everything as a result of that in filing of the returns as well. So it is fine, but remember, make use of filing the return late only if it is necessary, and not in case if your return is going to be a refund return. So अगर आपके return में refund बनता है, then it does not make sense, does not help you to delay filing of your return, because to that extent your refund will also get delayed. Otherwise, of course, it gives you some extra time for completing the job. And then of course you have the other tax measures where date of assessments have been extended, and also for the period for Vivad se Vishwas scheme also has been extended further. That means those who may be interested will get some extra time for this actually. Now friends, with this we will move to the next one, and as I said in the beginning, I'm going to be a little fast here, because in any case it is 6:21 and I would certainly like to close by 6:30. So the second announcement that the finance minister made was for the poor, including migrants and farmers, and that amount is 3.10 lakh crore. Friends, all of you must have seen during the lockdown period the plight of migrant worker in this country, which I think is really, लोग कोविड को भूल जाएंगे, लोग कोरोना को भूल जाएंगे, लेकिन वो जो छोटे छोटे बच्चे धूप में सड़क पे चले हैं वो इस चीज को नहीं भूलेंगे. गवर्नमेंट ने 3.10 लाख करोड़ का रिलीफ मेजर दिया है, और I am only hopeful that this is the time when government of all these states in this country must seriously think and ensure that the people of their state do not have to travel outside their state for. Hello. Yep. No. I will call you a little later. Yep. I took this call. I thinking in case any one of you were trying to contact me. Okay. So this is what has to be done. Atmanirbharta, it means that also all these states should now work and ensure that their people should have the employment opportunities in their states itself. India is the market for the whole world. पूरी दुनिया का market है इंडिया, और अगर पूरी दुनिया का मार्केट है इंडिया, तो क्यों ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि सारी की सारी यहाँ पर इतनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करें. आई एम श्योर फ्रेंड्स, ऑल ऑफ यू must have heard Piyush Goyal, honorable minister for the railways, Piyush Goyal, few days back was on a TV channel, and he said this that in India we are importing goods worth 10 lakh crore, and I'm repeating, 10 lakh crore from the countries who do not even let us export anything to them. Now remember, if this 10 lakh crore that we are importing from outside India, if this 10 lakh crore is produced here in India itself, nobody will have to go out of his home anywhere to seek the employment. And that is what is the need of the hour, and that will be the true Atmanirbharta, friends, in my view. So what the government has done, of course, number one, the government did free food grain supply to migrants for 2 months, and that costed the government 3,500 crore. Very much essential, very much necessary. This situation could have been managed much better. Hardship to the people could have been avoided. That would have been really good, but it is what it is. Then there is a 1,500 crore interest subvention for the Mudra Shishu loan. Now this Mudra Shishu loan are given up to an amount of 50,000 rupees. And in this country today, there are 1.62, the total quantum of the loan which has been given under the Mudra Shishu loan is 1.62 lakh crore. उनको गवर्नमेंट ने सबवेंशन दिया है of interest, which of course is very much necessary, very much required. 2% in subvention of 2% of interest. 5,000 crore special credit facility for the street vendors. Friends, we need to appreciate this fact. The street vendor, he might appear to be a small person, but just imagine, with very small investment, he is doing amazing job. And every time, when you look at the street vendor, I think we must give him a big respect, because he is a person who is showing tremendous amounts of self-respect. And the government has thought of a relief measure of 5,000 crore special credit facility. And as part of this, those street vendors would be able to get a credit facility of 10,000 rupees for working capital, which I am sure will definitely help, because 10,000 rupees for a street vendor becomes a sizable amount. 30,000 crore additional emergency working capital funding for farmers through NABARD. Welcome step, of course, is going to help them. 2 lakh crore concessional credit boost to 2.5 crore farmers through Kisan Credit Card. Obviously, nothing is going to go from the pocket of the government, but it will definitely improve the liquidity of the farmers. Then 70,000 crore boost to housing sector and middle income group through extension of CLSS is what has been provided. And then we come to, friends, something that has been done for the agriculture sector, 1,50,000, and that's where I'm going to. The government is talking in terms of spending 1 lakh crore for the agriculture infrastructure. Very much necessary, friends. We all understand this much better than anybody else. In this country, unfortunately, the cooperative movement became a corruption movement. The farmer who was the grower, he was famishing and committing suicide, and the intermediaries in between were making wealth, amassing wealth. And that is because the poor farmer was not able to reach the customer directly. The government has planned to create farm gateways that would help the farmers to approach the retail consumer directly, and that I'm sure will help in him getting the right price. There's a 10,000 crore scheme for formalization of micro food enterprise, 20,000 crore for the fishermen, and for animal husbandry, 15,000 crore. Promotion for herbal cultivation, 4,000 crore. Now, all these points, friends, will give you an idea as to how this the government has tried to work to ensure that each and every section of the society is taken care of. As much as for beekeeping, also there's a plan for 500 crore. Top is tomato, onion, potato. So the government already had the schemes for promoting the tomato, onion, and potato. Now they have created a fund of 500 crore, taking it to total. So total meaning it is not only tomato, onion, and potato, but every vegetable on which they would spend. So this is how it is, friends, and we are just 2 minutes away from the closure. And the time is also thereby. So New Horizon, and that's where the government has trying to create social infrastructure, and on that 8,100 crore has been planned. And so this is how it is. And finally, some enablers. Enablers are 40,000 crore increase in allocation for Manrega, and will now the question is, will the stimulus package help the economy come out of the crisis? That is $1 million question, because a lot will depend as to how these measures are implemented. A lot will depend how the support comes from every section. It will depend how prompt the government is in implementing all these measures. This, of course, is the total outlay, and under different days which announced. And with this, of course, it is 6:30, friends, in my watch, and I'm through with my presentation. In case if you have any question, I would be very happy to take them. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will, whatever questions you have, you can type in the chat box, and we will take it up one by one. Already some queries have come to Amish. Please take them up.
The first query has come from FB Patel, sir. He is telling whether CA firm can take the benefit under this package under any of the scheme. As you know, running of the practice by the firm will not be easy due to very tight financial position of their client.
Right. Okay. See, the one thing that I would like to mention here first, number one, whether a CA can register himself as MSME, and the answer is yes. But if you closely study all the relief measures which I have shared with you, at least I'm not able to see any of the relief measure that will where the CA would be able to take advantage of incapacity of a practicing chartered accountant. But if he is having a business, if he's a businessman, then of course he would be able to take advantage of the relief measures.
Okay. Any other questions? This one only one. So one thing I want to also ask, whether the scheme what government has framed is been on a faster node or a slow node? Like Germany, the Germany was the first country to take the step and to save the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And they had come with the various package scheme also. My one or two clients are in Germany. So the
Mm-hmm.
salary of the employees were also 70 to 80% were given to the company, and company
Mm-hmm.
had paid the salary to their employees. Like the
Right.
Germany government has helped a lot. So, sir, in one nutshell, we can say that if government is slow, government kills the business, kills the lives. So, same with India or not?
If you look at the packages, stimulus packages given by different government across the globe, uh, they are not uniform, they are not consistent, uh, they are not following the same pattern. So different governments have given different packages. In India, of course, the government has uh, tried to facilitate the liquidity of individuals by allowing them moratorium on their loans, and on in case of certain cases, PF benefit of 12%, in other cases benefit of 2%. So this is something one will have to wait and watch and see as to how does it happen. Unless you have the data coming from the industry, it would be really difficult to say whether it is a fast node or a slow node, in my view.
Okay, sir. Thank you. One more question is there.
Please.
We can unmute Rajesh Dhawan sir to say, or Amish will take it up.
Let Rajesh Dhawan sir clarify. It's a big question. Let him unmute him.
Rajesh Dhawan sir, you can ask the question.
Sir, hello, sir.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Rajesh ji.
The businesses who has no loans, as you spoke in the presentation, but has now liquidity issue,
Yeah.
it is going to be discrimination to these businesses. And how can our professional association or business association can make representation to government for them?
राजेश भाई, ये बहुत ही वैलिड केस है और राइप केस है. आई एम श्योर इफ आवर इंस्टीट्यूट using its platform makes a representation to the finance minister, to the government, I am sure the government will definitely consider it positively and proactively. See, many times, as I can visualize, many of these things are missed out of oversight and nothing else. Because nobody would have thought that a situation of this kind can also happen. That there is somebody who has not used the borrowed capital. He has managed his operations without the borrowed capital. But that was in the past. Lockdown of 2 months, 3 months definitely is going to hit his liquidity. And therefore, even though he did not use the borrowed fund in the past, he would require. So if our, this is what something which our institute can do, a quick survey by the members, and a representation can be made to the government that because of this lacuna in the relief measure, many of the MSMEs and the businessmen are suffering. If we can support this representation with number, I'm sure the government will definitely take positive action on it. Because see, remember, the government का objective ही relief देना है. तो अगर उनके ध्यान में आता है कि भाई ये सेक्शन रह गया है रिलीफ देने से, and if it is brought and if it comes from the platform of an institute of chartered accountants, nothing like that actually.
Sir, one more question.
Yeah.
So my friend loan was disbursed in second week of March.
Uh-huh.
And now he's no outstanding on 29th Feb.
Right.
Because of these situations, these people, these businesses will also suffer.
हाँ. Yeah, so अभी देखो उसमें क्या है राजेश भाई, प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि ये स्कीम है और ये स्कीम इज ड्रिवन बाय द रूल्स. ये स्कीम है where you are eligible for getting collateral free loan which is going to be repaid over a period of 4 years and with a moratorium of 1 year, and it has to be administered by the NCGTC. So that means what? That means आपका जो बैंक है, अगर आपके बैंक के पास में जाओगे, बैंक को बोलोगे सर ये मैंने 5 तारीख को आपने मुझे लोन दिया है, अदरवाइज मेरी आउटस्टैंडिंग है, तो बैंक वाला आपको नहीं सुनेगा. क्यों नहीं सुनेगा? बिकॉज उसका जो प्रपोजल है वो नेशनल क्रेडिट गारंटी ट्रस्ट की तरफ से रिफ्यूज हो जाएगा, तो वो उसको एंटरटेन नहीं करेगा. तो उसका तरीका यही है कि रिप्रेजेंटेशन दिया जाए थ्रू द इंस्टीट्यूट टू द गवर्नमेंट दैट दिस रिलीफ मेजर हैज टू बी अमेंडेड and provision has to be made that even if somebody did not have any outstanding on 29th February 2020, but if he is in need of money today, he can be given up to 5% of his turnover. Because so this is how it can be done, and this is how my suggestion will be that we should take it up through the institute.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Also, so what would be the benefit for registering now to MSME? Something benefit would come?
या देखो, अब मैं एक चीज बताऊंगा मैं आपको कि MSME के बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स हैं, बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स हैं, और ये आपके क्लाइंट्स के लिए बोल रहा हूँ. ऑल ऑफ अस, हम सब लोगों ने तो रजिस्टर करना ही चाहिए, बिकॉज हमें जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को जो बेनिफिट मिलेंगे, सर्विस सेक्टर को जो बेनिफिट मिलेंगे, वो हमको शायद ना मिले, पर we should register it. I would very strongly recommend all of us should ask tomorrow every one of our client कि भाई आपका MSE में रजिस्ट्रेशन है कि नहीं है, और अगर उसका रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है तो उसको रजिस्ट्रेशन करना चाहिए. उसका सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज ये है कि एज पर दी MSME डेवलपमेंट एक्ट 2006, if payment of MSME is not forthcoming within a period of 45 days, the customer is to pay interest triple the times of the bank rate of Reserve Bank of India at a monthly rest. So and the customer cannot put a condition of a credit period of more than 45 days. So these are the benefits which are available, and which in my view we should recommend, we should check that all our clients are registered under the MSME. In any case, the process is very simple. It just takes 5 minutes. It's all online, absolutely online. You only have to incur a cost of 2,000 rupees, and that's it.
Hello.
Post.
Yep.
One more question is there.
Please.
Now, Suresh Hegde sir has raised his hand also to ask a question.
Yeah. You can unmute them, Aditya.
Unmute here.
Yeah, as far as loan to MSME, why cooperative banks are not covered in this, sir? Can you throw some light on this?
Actually, why
Because large number of borrowers are from cooperative banks.
Actually, there are. I understand your point, Sureshji.
Yeah.
What you say is right. I understand because many of the borrowers are banking with the cooperative sector. Now, at this point in time, really speaking, I'm not able to. I'm aware that there are some administrative issues with regard to the cooperative sector. So that is the reason as to why it has not been covered. I'm sure there must be many other reasons. The government must have certainly taken them into account, and one may be of the corporate governance. Because when it comes to the cooperative sector, corporate governance is always a big issue, and we know what has happened in the past with regard to the cooperative banks. So that may be the reason as to why they have not been included. Second reason, maybe the government would perhaps would like to move people from the cooperative sector to the scheduled banking sector, because I firmly, this is my view, cooperative sector unfortunately in this country has become a corruption sector. And there are recent examples. So that must be the reason why the government must not have included the cooperative banks as part of this relief measure.
Okay. Thank you.
PMC बैंक का recent case है, इतने सारे cases हैं, people are suffering. Okay, yep.
Next query is from Anand Doshi, sir. He is left, I think. Trading company, Amish, please take.
Oh,
1 minute. Is there any subsidy? ये तो हो गया ना?
Anand Doshi, trading company.
Trading companies have high turnover but very low margins, but entails high working capital. Turnover threshold for them should be different than for the manufacturing organization under MSME. Your views? As of now, they are left high and dry.
No, actually, it's like this. Trading companies cannot get registered as
Under
MSME. But this relief package of 3 lakh crore is not restricted only to MSME. It is open to all the turnover is less than 100 crore. So if a trading company is not registered with MSME and having turnover of less than 100 crore and had outstanding on 29th February, then even if it is a trading company, it can take the benefit of relief under the 3 lakh crore collateral free guarantee credit. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Does it?
Any other query?
Sandeep Sridhar ka na? Any interest subsidy given under announcement of MSME for existing loans apart from moratorium?
No interest subvention for MSME, except that the collateral free credit, the guarantee cost will be borne by the government and not by the borrower. There is no subvention as far as interest is concerned for the MSMEs. There is subvention for the street vendors, but that's a small amount actually.
Anand Doshi sir is back again. He can ask your question, Anand sir.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, please.
Sir, you are absolutely right on what you explained just now, that so long as the turnover is less than 100 crores and the investment is less than 25, they are eligible under this particular package. But there are so many companies whose turnover is more than 100 crores and whose money is stuck with other organizations in the chain. They're stretched for their working capital. They don't seem to be having any relief coming from any quarters.
Yes, I can understand your concern and your point, of course, for sure. But this is all said and done. Remember, even in case of somebody whose turnover is less than 100 crore and who is eligible under the collateral free credit scheme, it is not that it is automatic. The bank is going to examine the financials. Only when the bank is convinced about the financials, then only the bank is going to grant this extra credit of 20%. So the point that I'm trying to drive is, in case if somebody is not eligible under the 3 lakh crore scheme of collateral free credit, uh, he he can of course approach his bank, and if the bank is convinced about his proposal, so bank will definitely consider. The only disadvantage to him is that it will not be collateral free.
Sir, if I may add, we are not
Yeah.
even looking at collateral free.
Hmm.
We are looking at support because our working capital cycle is stretched. Customers who would have normally paid you on time, they are not paying you on time.
Right.
Just a second, sir. I've been asked to start. I hope you can see me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
in
can see you.
these,
Yes, of course.
in
Yeah.
these cases, so because any relaxation that they would want to give, even under ease of working capital norms, they are forced to do provisioning in the banks because it becomes like a restructured account, and therefore a huge reluctance from their side to even touch the such cases. ये सर कोई भी स्कीम में उनको कवर नहीं हो रहा है सर.
Yeah, I would Anand ji, आप सही करें आनंद जी, and that is a limitation. That is a limitation of this particular relief package, because a certain part of the industry has been left alone. I mean, to manage by itself actually, and that is I mean, I as a speaker, I can't say it is a lacuna. I can only say that maybe the stimulus package is not comprehensive in true sense of it.
Absolutely right, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, इसके लिए शायद अगर कुछ हम इंस्टीट्यूट के द्वारा फॉर द ट्रेडिंग कम्युनिटी अगर हम कुछ एक प्रस्ताव रख सके, तो that may help. I am requesting my clients who are in the trading business to, through their trading forums, to put a particular proposition, because all the trading companies have gone into major difficulties.
They are badly hit actually, because
very badly hit, sir.
Yeah,
और इनका क्या है सर? इनका क्या है सर? इनकी वर्किंग कैपिटल रिक्वायरमेंट एक्चुअली बहुत ज्यादा होती है. LC रिक्वायरमेंट बहुत ज्यादा होती है, because primarily they are giving credit to customers while they are trading. So they are so badly hit that most of them will go under if they are not given any helping hand.
No, I fully appreciate your point, Anand ji, and and as I said during my presentation, trading not being included as part of the MSME, that itself is incorrect. But I understand that Nitin Gadkari himself has taken it up to ensure that the traders are also included as part of the MSME. And number two, you have very rightly said, see, all these matters, the lobbying has to be done. And the trading community is so strong in this country that they really need to come together and make a representation to the government. See, unfortunately, and I'm sure you would agree with me, in that business, there have been some incidences, and I'm sure you're aware, where there's too much of extra padding this way or that way, which creates a doubt in the mind of the policy makers, and they do not want to get caught in that actually.
Absolutely right.
That is the reason that
आपने सही कहा सर. Some bad apples actually are creating the whole basket as a mess. I agree with you, sir.
Absolutely.
But I think what you are telling me, I mean, I was not able to find any single measure which could be taken benefit by these trading companies, and I think you are seconding that ऐसा कुछ अभी है नहीं. जहां पर टर्नओवर 100 करोड़ से ज्यादा हो गया तो आपको डिफिकल्टी आ जा रही है.
नहीं, आप देखिए ना, जैसे 100 करोड़ का टर्नओवर का है, आप 100 करोड़ से कम का टर्नओवर है और उसको 29 फरवरी को क्रेडिट नहीं है, because he was managing on his own. Now, this is a penalty for good management actually. So
absolutely.
And such challenges can be resolved, by, as we discussed a little while ago, through a formal platform like Institute of Chartered Accountants or CII or something like that. So see, that is where they need to approach the government actually. And one thing which is good, the government, see, this is a very good case. This is a very fit case because somebody who is managing without credit, who has managed all this while without credit, that means he doesn't like credit. And if he
Yes.
is asking for it, it means it must be out of total compulsion.
Right.
So, and that is what I'm sure, because this government is quite proactive. I'm sure they would appreciate if somebody approaches them with this proposal.
Absolutely right, sir. So
Yeah.
thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Anandji.
So one more question is there of CA Manthan Rupale. What cost 2,000?
What?
Cost 2,000. Manthan sir is there?
Yes,
Hello? He is there.
Registration cost of was mentioned some 2,000. That is what he is asking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you register yourself as a on the platform of MSME, you will need to fill all the details. You will need to fill up all those details, and at the end you will need to pay 2,000 rupees online for getting yourself registered as MSME. और उसमें ये है कि आप एक बार MSME करके रजिस्टर हो गए और आपका कोई क्लाइंट अगर आपको पेमेंट नहीं दे रहा है 45 दिन के पहले बाद में, तो आप उसको बोल सकते हो भैया 30।
मगर सर्टिफिकेट तो फ्री आता है ना, सर्टिफिकेट इज कमिंग फ्री ना?
Yes, it is free.
नहीं, बट सर्टिफिकेट के लिए आपको फीस भरना पड़ेगा ना?
नहीं ना
2000
सर,
रुपए का रजिस्ट्रेशन फीस है
सर। नहीं है सर, वो एक्चुअली के प्राइवेट जो एक दो सेक्टर्स है जो उन लोग ने लिंक बना के रखा है, अदरवाइज MSME सर्टिफिकेट तो फ्री आ रहा है।
Yeah, I know what you say is right, but then I think
1850 का आता है, 1850 का कुछ तो हम लोग ऑनलाइन जाते हैं ना, वो 2 इसमें आता है, तो वो एक गवर्नमेंट वाला क्लियर लिखा हुआ भी आता है कि इट इज फ्री। तो उन्होंने एक जो मेरे को लगता है एक प्राइवेट सेक्टर ने किसी ने MSME का लिंक बना के रखा है, तो बहुत सारे जन ट्रैप हो रहे हैं उसमें।
हाँ, I think you are right, Amesh. What you say is correct, because as far as the government is concerned, as per the government, there is nothing to be charged. But what you say is right, because it directs you to some other website. So
Yes,
if it is, the only thing is when it is happening with MSME, if it is getting directed to another website, and you would see the credentials of that website, it doesn't appear to be a private website. The address is absolutely of the government. This thing.
Right, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
But actually sir, it is a free because many time मैं भी कंफ्यूज हो जाता, तो मैंने क्या किया सर, वो मेरे मेल में लिंक रखा है। कभी कभी कोई क्लाइंट को चाहिए रहता है, इमरजेंसी में निकालना रहता है ना, तो लिंक मेरे पास उसमें सेव करके रखा है। अदरवाइज whenever you type on the Google website, no, it will take you a page site only.
Correct. Yeah, otherwise you are right. It is supposed to be free of cost. Actually.
Yes, it's a free of cost. Actually, it is free of cost.
Free of cost, yes. And it is very user friendly. It doesn't take time at all. Actually.
Yes. But sir, only one thing is that if your mobile in Aadhaar card, if PAN mobile number is linked, then it is a very smooth process. Otherwise, it is a little bit different, cumbersome. So next,
तो अगर आज की तारीख में you are right, because your Aadhaar must be linked with your mobile, or rather your mobile must be linked with your Aadhaar. I think that's absolutely necessary.
Yes. Sir, one more question is, I think so it's a last question by Salman sir. Do you see
online?
He can say, okay, no problem.
Yes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is with relevant to the clients that I'm interacting, that even before the pandemic, monthly payment of GST is creating a stress, because payments were being delayed earlier also, and payments will be delayed now also. So even when they are getting orders now, the client is upfront saying, I will sell and then I will make a payment to you. So even though it's a legitimate sale, he is not likely to get a payment for 2 months and 3 months. And at 18% rate, he is ready to block almost his cost into the GST. So he on one side he is not getting payment, on the other side he has to pay the GST. So is there a point? Is there a case for making GST payments quarterly, so people can settle some of the bills at least in the period of 3 months and then start paying? Because monthly payment also makes an additional burden that you eventually have to calculate everything every month. It might be uploaded later, but every month you are calculating and you're paying. So that's creating a stress on the system.
Again, Salman ji, whether it is a common problem or whether it is a specific problem, that is what one has to look at. So in business everywhere, the different people will have different kind of challenges, and some of the, if the challenge is a common problem, then it can be represented. But if it is not a common problem, then the businessman will have to find out the answer by himself. This is how I would look at it actually. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि ये पूरा सबका प्रॉब्लम है, तो then one can make a combined representation and approach the government. This is the challenge that you have, so it has to be taken care of the government. Because one thing is sure, in a situation like this, answer has to come from the government. There is no doubt about it. In a situation like this, the answer has to come from the government. But for which problem the answer has to come from the government? Something which is common to all.
Right.
So look at from that perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we can finish. I think so. No questions. Anybody had any query?
I will request Amish to give a hearty, well-deserved vote of thanks.
Pramod Jain sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation and also giving your good insight. On behalf of Andheri Yoshihiro Study Circle, I give you the hearty vote of thanks, and to see you in physical from Pune to Mumbai whenever the lockdown is over, sir.
Yes, definitely.
Sir, can you just throw a light that you are the author also? So recently I had seen that you had written 2 books also. So can you give some insight for 2 books, what it is exactly, so that we can get a general idea?
Yeah, sure, of course. Friends, I have authored 2 books. The first is Finance for Value Creation, which is how to create value in the business. And the second book that I have authored is titled as You Are a Born Winner. Just be aware of it. Now, friends, this is my experience कि ये जो लाइफ हमारी है हम सब लोगों की, ये बहुत प्रीशियस है. ये इतनी प्रीशियस है कि हमको उसका अंदाजा नहीं है. और ये जीवन को मस्ती से जीने के लिए, आनंद से जीने के लिए, 24 घंटे खुश रह के जीने के लिए जो कुछ भी हमको चाहिए वो हमारे पास में है. So whatever is required to live our life in joy, bliss, ecstasy and happiness is all available with us. Only thing is we are not aware. Since we are not aware, we are not using it. Since we are not using it, we are missing on the joy of this wonderful thing called life. So your second book है You Are a Born Winner. ये बुक आपको बताती है कि आपकी कौन सी क्या है आपके पास में जीवन को पूरी तरह से जीने के लिए, और ये बुक आपको पूरी लाइफ को कितने ब्यूटीफुली लिव कर सकते हैं वो बताती है. तो इसका जो टाइटल है यू आर अ बॉर्न विनर, इट इज नॉट अ टाइटल, इट इज अ स्टेटमेंट. इट इज अ स्टेटमेंट. एवरी वन ऑफ अस, एंड व्हेन आई से एवरी वन ऑफ अस डज नॉट मीन you and me. Everyone meaning everyone on this earth is a born winner. सब कुछ है उसके पास में अपने जीवन को मस्त होकर जीने के लिए, आनंद से जीने के लिए और उत्सव से जीने के लिए. खाली थोड़ा समझने की जरूरत है. तो ये सारा वो सेकंड जो बुक है मेरी यू आर ए बॉर्न विनर, उसमें दिया हुआ है.
We will keep this one session on this to hear from you.
Yeah, sure, of course we can do that. We can do that. And both these books, by the way, since you have mentioned Amish, both these books are available on Amazon and Flipkart. And I would very strongly recommend. I'm not doing marketing because I don't do marketing. I don't do marketing for the simple reason because it is not required. But ये जो वैल्यू क्रिएशन वाली जो बुक है वो आपको अपने जो आर्टिकल्स हैं, आपके जो ऑफिस के स्टाफ है, सबको दीजिए. गिव इट टू एवरीबॉडी. एंड आई कैन टेल यू विद इन अ मंथ यू विल फील द डिफरेंस in their communication, in their interaction with you. And the second book जो है You Are a Born Winner, आपको पढ़नी है कि नहीं पढ़नी है वो आप देखो, लेकिन अपने बेटे को अपनी बेटी को जरूर गिफ्ट करिए, क्योंकि ये बुक में हम वो सब है जो हम अपने बच्चों को बताना चाहते हैं। लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि जब हम बताते हैं तो हमारे बच्चे सुनते नहीं हैं। तो अगर किसी ऑथर के पास से आए, एंड बाय द वे रिमेंबर, मैंने ये जो बुक में लिखा है वो थ्योरी नहीं है, वो सब मैं प्रैक्टिस किया हूं, मैं करता हूं वो सब कुछ, यू नो, आई लिव लाइफ दैट वे। तो अपने बेटे को बेटी को वो बुक जरूर गिफ्ट करिए, एंड आई कैन टेल यू दैट इज वन इन्वेस्टमेंट you would always feel very proud of. तो फाइनेंस फॉर वैल्यू क्रिएशन अमिश गिफ्ट करिए to your colleagues, to your articles, आपके जो स्टाफ के लोग हैं।
Thank you. So Aditya, we can close the meeting now.
Yeah, thank you everyone.
Small announcement. Next, we had a webinar again on next Sunday. Just we are planning for it.
14th.
14th. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Pramod,
everyone.
sir.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Pramod sir.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you Aditya.
Bye.
Thank you
Bye.
Anisha. Thank you every one of you. Thank you so much.
Bye, bye,
Have a
sir.
great
Bye.
evening. Bye bye.